Psychophysical resonance. Quantum psychology. Resonance in quantum psychology is a phenomenon when, at a certain value of the psychic compulsory force of a person, the external system is particularly responsive to the action of this force. At this moment, the tension in the nervous system disappears, the currents flow freely. The mind's representations is no interference, while the mental effort continues. Usually, the condition passes into contemplation and enlightenment. Let us take an example. Archimedes solves the problem of determining the volume of the crown of King Hiero. The day passes, the second, the head splits from the search effort. Archimedes decides to take a bath to relieve meningitis. Dropping into the bath, the water level rose to a volume equal to his body. Eureka! Archimedes cried, jumped up and ran naked around Rome. A brilliant idea came to him. At that moment the basic law of hydrostatics was discovered, Archimedes' law. Similarly, with psychophysical resonance. When setting the goal and expressing it, the nervous system becomes silently activated. In our culture there are other names like chakras on yoga, acupuncture and internal alchemy in Taoist technique. The chakra is tense, and only with the correct answer or interaction of the person-object, the tension in the chakra disappears. It is illumination or resonance. Likewise, the lie detector works. Any conscious action causes a number of psychophysiological reactions in the human body. When reporting false information, the frontal part of the cerebral cortex is strained, and conversely, truthful speech relaxes the active zone. This widely known principle is the basis for the action of the polygraph or the lie detector. Modern studies show that psychophysical resonances can be divided in two types. 1. The relationship with the logos. 2. Mental intuition. 3. Imperious. 4. Remote perception or imaginative intuition. 5. Remote hearing or sound intuition. 6. Speech. 7. Correlation, relationships. 8. Creative. 9. Material. 10. Sexual. 11. Cause and effect. And 12. Hermetic. Each of these resonances correlates with the activity of a strictly defined part of the human nervous system. For example, hermetic, this resonance is the currents of the spinal cord with the organ and part of the external being. Another example, resonance of the parietal or frontal cortex is responsible for receiving and sending thoughts. In physics, resonance is a phenomenon of a sharp increase in the amplitude of forced oscillations, which occurs when the external response frequency approaches certain values, resonance frequencies determined by the properties of the system. The most well-known mechanical resonance system for most people is the usual swing. If you push the swing according to their resonant frequency, the swing will increase. Otherwise the motion will fade. In the broadest sense, resonance is the reciprocal sound of one of the two bodies tuned in unison. Psychophysical resonance is not only a nuclear magnetic resonance between the spins of the nuclei of the nervous system and the external object. The concept is much broader. To master mental resonance, you need the ability to control the psyche and distinguish states of the psyche. To find mental resonance, a person relies on the activity of the nervous system and seeks such a state of mind when the tension in the nerve center disappears and the currents flow freely. For this, a person gently feels around, using the activity of the nervous system as a criterion. In the direction where the tension disappears, the currents flow freely. Continue the psychic search. At this moment, the interaction between the psyche and the external system is established, which often turns into contemplation. This is the work of the third, human signal system. In this psychophysical effort, one learns to control the shades of the states of the psyche in accordance with the activity of the nervous system. The mechanism of psychophysical resonance lies in the fact that the energy field of the neural current generates an external current that charges the external environment, and the discharge of the external medium creates the same value of the energy field of the neural current, the process between the psyche and the external object, which is repeated many times. By analogy with mechanical swings, each of us can get acquainted with psychophysical resonance from a simple experiment. Ask yourself any question. If the core of the cerebral cortex is activated, then find a state where the activity of the central nervous system relaxes. Use the principle of a lie detector. The answer will correspond to the objective. When the least stress of the brain zones is observed, and false when the voltage is increased.